Well, this is a story all about how my rights got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the one and only Nightwing's Reader. Reader. Close enough. Right, that's my meme quote out the way anyway. How are you all? You having a good day? I hope so. I hope you are. Because we might be here for a while. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I'm determined to finish this in this sitting. It might be 20 minutes, I might just go play 2 matches and that'll be it. Or I might be here for 3 hours and I'll be wanting to blow my tiny little brains out by the time we've reached the end, because I'll have just been doing so many wacky voices for so long, I will have lost sight of who I even am anymore. Anyway, let's go play a game, shall we? Let's play the game. Let's progress. Let's see if we can actually bring this to some sort of conclusion. And I'm still wondering what this is. What these things are. The sort of bobbing upside down magnifying glasses. Don't really understand it, but I mean, there's a lot of things I don't really understand about this game, but for some reason these are the ones that stand out to me the most. Let's just do this, shall we? Let's get on. To the Scribber's Gatti. Hey, I forgot we haven't had a message from Gilman yet, so cool. Deep in the sublime grandeur of Mount Elodial, you find a messenger imp, looking to bring you the latest news and rumours from the other side. This time around, the imp brings tidings of Sir Gilman, and what happened to him since his liberation at the fall of Solium, when, at last, his self-imposed exile came to an end. You learned that his return to the Commonwealth was met with much rejoicing, and that before long he was promoted to the rank of Veiled Captain on the Blood Border. Oh, he actually took a position then. Huh. Kind of regretting sending him up now. I thought he was going to help us. And yet, with tears welling in his eye, he did refuse the post. Okay, fair enough. Stating that he no longer had the heart to fight against the hiring remnants as he once did. He then cast down his helmet. And when next anyone saw him, he was among Volfred's agents, having joined the revolution to reshape the Commonwealth from within. You thank the messenger imp for the report and salute it crisply, as surely Gilman would have. Soon, the news has everyone in the wagon talking. Do you think that one day I can be as brave as him? Because I don't always think I can. Noble Gilman made the gallant choice, it seems. Our plan comes closer to fruition through his good example and support. The tears he shed ought to have been bottled, and thus set aside for use in various salves. Tizo feels inspired by the news of Gilman's selfless actions. The news of Gilman's liberation fills you and your fellow exiles with newfound resolve. You gained a hope. You are returned once more to the Scribe's Gate, where the Gate Guardian awaits under a dim sky. And a very rainy sky as well. The exiles of the Nightwings, and you, Tariq. This is to be one of our final meetings. Greetings, Celeste. The Nightwings are prepared, and afterwards I would have words with you in private, if you please. If you know what I mean. It seems to me rather late for words now, Tariq. But I shall hear them once your charges cross the gate. Now, all of you, come forth. Please state your names and what it is you seek whilst crossing Scribe's Gate. Once more, your companions cross the gate, one after another, and once more you follow them in turn. Celeste regards you all, then waves you through towards the summit. The 8 scribes bid the Nightwings welcome. Go forth with glory. And Tariq? Aye, Celeste. You may rejoin the others in a while. For now, I would hear those words of yours.
Felantas eres.
Oh, certainly, Celeste.
Acertaba.
Everyone, I shall see you shortly. Oh, they're already singing. I wasted no time singing. It's nice. Oh, hey guys, it has gotten real cold again up here, but it's worth it, let me tell you. The custom has been stopping by. Okay, I may have been exaggerating just a little, but since I've been waiting here a little while, I guess you buying something at all? Stuff. Oh, we want this, don't we? Oiguitais, indeed. Oiguitais, indeed. See you later. Oh, he's suddenly warmed up. So, be seeing you guys. Are they done singing? They just had one little sing song and now they're done. It's not just like the background music or anything. Okay, well, you know what? Maybe give the extra presents to Volfred. The extra presents to Volfred. There we go. We did it. Cool. Commence. The time has come again to deliver one of your fellow exiles to a homecoming in the Commonwealth, lest your adversaries, the Pyre Hearts, achieve the same instead. The lone minstrel has returned and approaches as you await the signal from the stars. There is something I wish to ask you, reader, something which ordinarily would not be my place to discuss in any detail. You have observed the stars. If you would not mind my asking you in such a direct manner, how many liberation rites are you supposing yet remain? Well, I've been pretty confident that this is the last one. I guess perhaps that this is to be the very last liberation rite, given that the stars have continued fading and all. The lone minstrel only shakes his head. Nay, reader, sir, more than one remains, provided that you also count this liberation rite commencing any moment. Huh. Well, that told me, I kind of thought we were done here. I mean, after this guy goes, then we're gonna only have 3 people left, so I suppose we could liberate one of them and that would be the end, but apparently we have to fight Aurelek as well? Unless he is going to be the final liberation, right? I don't know. I wish to make certain that you are aware, so that you and the Nightwings may yet make the most of your remaining time together thus. As to what will happen once the final liberation rite has ended, we shall both find out, but lo, it seems that we are called upon once more. Look forth. I really thought this was the end. I really thought this was it. I guess not. How's this gonna play out?
Reader, I would ask that you think back for just a moment, if you please.
Okay.
When you first looked upon the Book of Rites, think back upon the words that it revealed.
Some shit about an old king.
Oblige the voice that tells you more.
Oh.
Oblige the voice that tells you more.
Okay.
Would that the scribes were here among us still. I would not sing your praises to them, rest assured.
Okay.
I trust that you shall savor this occasion.
All I'm doing is performing the
You
rites.
shan't have to oblige me for much longer.
If my dudes are getting back there and being assholes, that's not my problem. I'm just reading. The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. I concur. The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. Then, anointed one of the pyre hearts, come forth now and declare yourself, and pay any respects you have unto your adversaries the Nightwings. Sir Deluge tentatively slithers forward and starts to struggle with his mask.
This knight is called Sir Deluge, and he is amongst the most decorated knights of the Sea Dominion, having survived many battles. Record these proceedings, for this valor shall soon become the stuff of legend, and probably some of your songs.
Is it not so that you have fled from every battle in which you were expected to fight, Sir Deluge? Or have our messengers all been misled in this?
Lies! Spread no doubt by the detestable Nightwings. Their treachery is such that they dared steal one of our own triumvirate.
It is for the triumvirates to decide who shall stand with them. If one of your pyre hearts was taken in by the Nightwings, then ask yourself why your companion would have left in the first place.
This knight knows very full well. Because not all who hail in the Sea Dominion seem to know the meaning of honor. Now, Nightwings, for the grave injury that you have caused the pyre hearts, we hereby challenge you. Know that this knight would strongly prefer to descend you to the death. Such a shame that bloodshed is against the rules.
He somehow puts his mask back on.
Pyre hearts, protect your liege at all costs. His liberty depends on it, and if this knight is not getting out of here, then neither are you.
Cool. Nightwings, your choice. In whose name shall you conduct this liberation rite? Well, I wish you the wisdom of the scribes in making your choice, reader. And I wish that you come prepare our song with me, Tariq. They really have some special times together, don't they? No.
Whom shall you attempt to send home this time?
Tariq tells me that there's at least one more liberation rite. Can I send my dogs back to the Commonwealth? Is that okay? Can I do that? There's one more liberation rite. Volfred doesn't want to leave. He's asked me kindly not to be sent back. Bertrude honestly seems to be doing just great down here, and also she's a bit of a bitch and I don't really want to send her back. And Ray is carrying me, so she can be sent back next time. Which means little Tizo, who has expressed interest in getting to see the Commonwealth for himself, he's the one.
Tizo.
Tizo seems stunned by your decision, though is very grateful to you for it, all the same.
Who shall stand with him?
Bertrude.
Bertrude.
Then we shall do what is within our power for that one. And Ray.
Ray.
Thank you for believing in me, mister. I want to help my friends.
Look, just go easy on this knight, okay? Because he hasn't had it easy, and fellow Worm Knights kind of want him out.
Wow, he changed his tune quickly, didn't he?
Commence.
Come on, stamina. Damn. You know, maybe I haven't paid enough attention to the songs before, but I've just realised they're singing about the Pyre Hearts this time, which is kind of apt. Maybe they've been singing about my opponents in every one of these. Because that's kind of cool. There's been a lot of work gone into the sort of specifics, shall we say, of what people say and evidently sing about in this game. Come on, there we go. Nice. Actually, probably should have tried to go in then when they only had one guy left. Oh, so close. Damn, they're so fast. So fast. I think the lead with Tizo isn't ideal either, if I'm honest, but... Okay, that was a bit dumb of me. I'll admit that. Oh, he jumped it! That was a move! That guy's got some skills!
Why is it raining now? Just as this knight was beginning to think things could not possibly get any worse for him.
I thought he lived in the sea. Does he not like water?
Now our poor Pyre is getting soaked.
Sir Deluge must have realised this disadvantage applies equally to you as it does to the Pyre Hearts. Henceforth, your pyres shall be gradually drained by the rainfall. That's not good. That's not good at all. How's my pyre looking? Oh, slightly better than theirs at least, I suppose. Nice! I mean, we could just stall them out at this point. Yes!
And there it is, at last. The blasted Nightwings proved their words.
Yeah, we did.
Their adversaries they defeated utterly.
I quite like the
Thus
suicide
ends
bomber
the liberation rite.
tactic with Tizo. It's quite fun.
Thus, the scribes have chosen. The exile appointed by the Nightwings shall be free.
Yeah, we're freeing one of our drive imps because
Absolved of all
we freed so many people that we're just running out of ideas.
In the Commonwealth, his adversary and all others shall remain to carry out their rightful sentences.
You know what? Next time we might just free Falcon Ron or someone. Just send in whoever the hell we feel like up there, because we've got such a monopoly on this. It doesn't matter.
Well, this right knew it was too good to be true.
Where I just said this right and not this night. I'm too used to saying the word right. It comes up a lot in this game. He's wearing white. Got like a little white robe on. Tizo is stunned by what transpired and what he thinks is about to happen. He looks around at the reality of all that transpired sinks in. He realises now that this is goodbye, at least for the time. He struggles to express the gratitude he feels at having served the Nightwings these many years. He does not know what to expect from the Commonwealth and whether he will be accepted. Yeah, are they going to give Tizo like a position of ultimate power or something? Because that would be hilarious. Nevertheless, he vows that he will keep doing his best to benefit Volfrid's plan. With that, he splashes into the shimmer pool and is gone from view. You hear him chirping one last time. Tizo wishes for the best for each of you and asks that you remember him. How could we forget? He's the only guy who didn't hurt my voice. May you return in glory.
Godspeed, Tizo.
Look at him go.
The cycle of the rites is nearly at an end.
Kind of is, yeah. Kind of is. Well. Yeah. So what next? You return to the wagon after having prevailed against the Pyre Hearts in the liberation rite. A fortuitous result. Do you think that Tizo is already home? You succeeded in liberating Tizo, who returned to the Commonwealth in glory. The last of the stars still shines for us above. At this point, what is to become of our plan needn't be the subject of our speculation. I trust that we'll learn the outcome soon enough. Our actions to this point shall pave the way, perhaps our faith as well. So let's for now focus on this. We stand upon the brink of the last turn of the cycle of the rites. Soon, we shall have a final chance to get one of you home. Now, reader, up for a little stargazing. Let's see where the downside we shall be returning for these final rites. You turn back towards the darkness to look upon the last few stars too stubborn to relinquish their light. Where do they lead? Well, I'll tell you where they lead. They lead to Hobe, to Goal, or to Jumware. So, looks like we're playing the Dissidents next time. I don't think anyone's going to catch them at 29 points. It's only the accusers who aren't going to get a chance. I kind of feel bad for them. Everyone else had a bash at it, but alas and alack. Oh, pirates are crossed out. They no longer have any real chance of freedom before the rights are end. To be fair, I don't think anyone has any chance of freedom. Maybe the accusers at a push, but it's going to be the Dissidents, isn't it? Let's face it. Goal, Haub, Jumware. Well, we'll go against the bird people. Don't know why. I just quite like going to Goal. I seem to spend a lot of time there. Once more, you are to face the essence then, although I wonder. He hesitates before saying anything further. You cannot sense his thoughts. I apologize. I was lost in thought there for a moment. Let us make our way to the ridge of Goal when everyone is feeling more refreshed, as much as possible. Alright, Ray, what's up? In spite of the late hour, you find Ray minding her own business in the wagon and talking to herself, or rather to the wagon walls. But most of all, I think I'm going to miss his little chirping sounds. He woke me up with them sometimes. He kept waking me up. He sure was a good friend to both of us, right, little brother? Why, you never knew him better than I did. Much better than I should think. Well, I completely screwed that up. Never mind, it's fine. Keep going. So, you really must miss him too. She spreads her arms against the wall. I understand. I do. I do. Those Drivums up there, they're very sad about this too. Or maybe some of them are happy. I don't know. More food for them to share, and they like food. Tizo sure liked food. I wonder if he'll like the food at home. It's very different, right? And so maybe he won't, but he eats almost anything. Oh, this must be so exciting for him, and I know the scribes, they shall be watching over him still. I think that they will love him best of all. I cannot wait to hear what he thinks about it all, and I think for sure he will help with Mr. Sandalwood's big plan. That's the great thing about Tizo, little brother. No matter where he goes, he always helps. He always helps. She bounds off without acknowledging your presence in the least. You sense that she has found some peace despite now being separated from her little friend, Tizo. You hope by now that he has found safe passage in the Commonwealth. I kinda do, yeah. I kinda do. Let's continue. It is daybreak. You're set forth now for the Ridge of Goal, for what appears to be the final time. Thereafter you shall return here for one last exile's final chance at liberty. turn on the nitrous. Just blast our way through the sky. Oh, I'm sorry, Deluge, I'm sorry.
What was that?
You hear Deluge in full-on panic as his fellow Worm Knights attempt to calm him down.
What? You mean it was the Nightwings? We're not to face them and now coming right again, are we?
At some point, he realizes your wagon is aloft beside his own.
You, Nightwings! These knights are not forgive you this transgression. Once we prevail against whatever adversaries are doomed to face us next, then we shall come for you. Why must this knight be forced to fly so far above the land and sea?
You realize he doesn't stand a chance. Oh, sorry.
Oh, a pleasure to encounter you within our stars themselves, old Nightwings.
They deliberately crashed into us, Father, yet you still address them in such a cordial manner.
Now, Alma, I'm certain that this was an honest accident, and it appears no lasting damage has been done. Please, take the helm, as I shall go start to pick up all the fallen artifacts which shook free from the walls after the impact. Perhaps some of those old heirlooms may yet be repaired with adhesives drawn from certain flora we may find along our difficult quest.
Damn you, Nightwings, you stay away from us. His voice changes a bit every time I do it. I've never really settled on one, to be honest. He's just like a slightly posh bellend. Okay, let's just get to the Ridge of Gold. Let's just get this shit done, shall we? Ray thinks there's something in the blooming pool. Volfred thinks there's something, a powerful talisman may be buried in Hollowroot. I gotta go for the powerful talisman. Sorry, Ray. I'll accompany Volfred. You and Volfred venture into the lonesome lands of Hollowroot, along a circuitous path that takes you far enough away from the Black Wagon. My agents suggest that what we seek is somewhere very close, my boy. Perhaps you can already sense its presence. You can. After a careful search, you procure an artifact, either discarded by one witless to its power, or left there for the sake of someone such as you, or possibly knocked free from the ship of those nice people you crashed into earlier. It's the Nylon Leech. After banishing an adversary, the bearer has a chance to instantly recover all stamina. Not using that then, that's a bit meh. Literally got stuff that gives people infinite stamina, so that's not really comparable. Off to the ridge then. Let's get ridgy. I always like those deep ridge crisps. I think they're pretty great. All the flavour gets in the ridges, and it's like a taste sensation. Alright, what you got then?
Hey guys, I noticed that your little impal, he isn't with you anymore. Is he okay? I heard the wildest thing, that somehow he got out of here, back to the other side, and I'm like, why would an imp want that?
Stardust. Swell. Okay, see you later.
See you guys.
Alright, no muss, no fuss, no chatting to people. All the talkative ones have gone, I suppose. Let's just get this done. After making all the necessary preparations amid the sweeping plains of the Ridge of Gold, you and your companions await the commencement of the rites. It is quieter even than usual at the onset of such events. A lone minstrel appears, bearing some sort of news. I have checked, and it appears as though the essence still have not arrived, reader, sir. There is no sign of Tamitha or anyone. Their signal is not set either. If what he says is true and your adversaries are not present, then you presume the rite cannot commence. However, the stars themselves soon indicate that you are mistaken. So what? Is it going to be Aurelek again? What's going to happen? Anyone? Any clue? Gonna get a loading screen? Something about the accusers? That doesn't seem like a thing.
Reader, the Commonwealth, your home, Today it is aflame. Much like a stack of books. Aflame because of you.
Guess the rebellion's doing their work.
Because of your outlandish plan.
Sounds a bit violent though.
Not that you care. Not that you shall live to see this place again.
Well, no, I'm stuck down here.
Your attempts at revolution shan't succeed.
Made my peace with that, that's fine.
Though by all means, keep trying. As for myself, I shall enjoy presiding over these remaining rites.
Don't you have anything better to do? Like, your city's on fire. The ride is set to commence, but your adversaries, they have failed to show. Unfortunate, but understandable. They knew that they would never make it to another liberation, right? I cannot blame them for not wanting to participate just for the sake of it. Indeed, as the rites are drawing to a close, some of the triumvirates who you have met, perhaps they are beginning to decide the stars are not worth heeding any longer. Tamitha. You wonder whether she would give up on the rites just like that. Her fixation on the Commonwealth seemed not easily dissuaded, though perhaps she decided to pursue vengeance some other way. In any way, we have begun to the ceremony here, and I ask that we end it. What, we just have to walk the ball in a few times? Oh, yeah, we don't have a lot of choice here anymore, do we?
The choice is cast.
We take no place. What? We take no pleasure snuffing out a flame disowned. This is going to be the hardest fight of my life.
Lo, even your adversaries have abandoned you.
There's not even a pyre.
It is done. Night winds prevail by default.
Woo!
Not
The best
that
kind of
their
victory.
adversaries even care.
So I win most of my matches in real life, to be honest. Just wait till the opponent gives up and goes home. By the scribes, is this truly what they wanted?
Boundless are the teachings of the scribes.
I don't even get experience.
May
That's lame.
misfortune find you ere the turning of the stars.
Okay. You're not very nice, you know. Remember, you were once down here too. You were once one of us. Forgotten what your name was, but you were a Nightwing. No one speaks further of the essence back at the Black Wagon. Everyone is instead preoccupied with the rite that is to come. Our final chance at liberty presents itself at last. You surmise that to be the long and the short of it, then? The stars always shine with truth. The ending of the rites is now upon us. He looks over at you. Please look forth, reader sir, and see this for yourself. You may well surmise where we are going next. I think I already know. The others turn to you as well. You turn towards the wagon's door. You know what you shall see out there. Now, however, the time has come to face it. The dim and fading light of the final star still pierces through the darkness, demanding your attention, guiding you toward the end point of your path. Let's look upon it for the last time. There's still plenty of stars. Just saying. They're still all there. Just because they're not, like, trying to beckon me towards them anymore doesn't mean they're not... They've not died. I just saw Aurelek when I clicked that. I probably should have paid a bit more attention to what I was doing. Is he going to be our final... You are summoned to the Fall of Solium for your 7th and final liberation rite. Thus shall the cycle of rites be ended for an age. You sense that if the rite shall ever come again, it shall not be during your lifetime, or that any of your companions, even the longest lived ones. The stars reveal to you one thing more. The adversary whom you shall face shall be Aurelek. Already he has crossed the Scribe's Gate and awaits your arrival. The 8 scribes created the Nightwings in their own likeness. Perhaps it is only fitting that the Nightwings should, in the end, be forced to face themselves. It is a shame that we would have to confront Aurelek in the end. Our goal should never have been at cross purposes. I am surprised that this is what the scribes desire. For now, it may be best that you'll recover until dawn. Regain your strength as best you can for the coming trial. Rest well, reader. The group disperses as exhaustion sets in. At dawn, you fly to Mount Elodio to make a final effort to achieve your plan and get somebody home. But who? See, I just feel sorry for Barker, because he was meant to be fighting me in this final, right? But apparently Orwell's just come along and gone, nope, sorry. Sorry, you old cockney geezer, looks like the stupid voice demon is going to be taking your position in the final, right? Just because he says so and he's got big horns.
Foolish reader.
I'm sorry.
Your so-called friends. You are accomplice to their hateful plot.
I mean, kinda, yeah.
They are exploiting you.
Fine.
You shall never have your freedom.
I'm aware. That was something we established quite early in the game. By dawn, you were already up and about after a troubled slumber. The Black Wagon is prepared for its final voyage to the fall of Solium. No one speaks. Except the lone minstrel, apparently, because he can't keep his gob shut. As you lift into the sky, the lone minstrel raises his voice, cutting through the somber mood. Reader, a certain olden ballad comes to mind just now. I think it may befit the circumstance. Perhaps it may help to pass the time along our flight. Would you mind it very much if I were to play this song for the night winds? By all means. You urge the lone minstrel to play his ballad, so that all among you might hear it. He begins without another word.
When the stars align, the right shall come to bear. Illuminate the signs, the exiles shall be there. All are not the same, but three shall be as one. Freedom in the flame, the end has just begun. Strength may break our own, but twisted make a great. Together on their own, the journey shall be made. The journey shall be made.
That was very nice, but I can't help but wonder where he got the backing singer from. Bertrude shall gain favour from the scribes. Volfrude shall gain favour from the skies. Well, Bertrude's the more useful of the two, so... You touch down amid the ancient formations of Mount Elodio to make pilgrimage to the summit for one last time. There, one last liberation rite shall soon commence. There, one last exile shall regain his or her freedom. All others shall remain to carry out their sentences here in the downside for the remainder of their lives. And in the Commonwealth, the plan of which you were a part shall either come to fruition or shall be suppressed. I guess the favour of one of the scribes would be quite nice right now. After having landed, you join Bertrude on an expedition to the monument of Jomuer Menimane, for what is likely to be the final time. We beseech ye, ancient gods of the last age, and we invoke thine aid. We have travelled far to gain this summit many times, and stood steadfast with our compatriots who seek to leave this place. We now offer ye our services eternally, if you would grant us such a boon as to ensure our triumph in the coming night. Long would we serve ye, O ancient gods, should you accept this offer here and now. Soon she is finished. You return to the wagon in silence, feeling as though Jomuer Menimane has shown you favour. At dawn you shall begin your last ascent. For now, your vocations may occupy what little time you have to spare. Thanks for the blessing. Well, it's obviously mentoring. He's only just 4, so he's not going to get a level up out of it, but Bertrude probably will, so... You sit down with Bertrude to go over some of the subtler aspects of the rites, such as the state of banishment and how to return from it. You sense she is beginning to understand. Long have we sought to fathom all the darkest secrets hidden by the light of the stars. Now at last, the stars themselves revoke their station in the night, and we have finally achieved an inkling of this. When she pounces at an adversary, she instantly recovers all her stamina, which would be nice, to be fair, because her pounce costs a lot of stamina. Oh, she deals more damage to the pyre. No, we'll go for the pounce thing, I think. Clear out that tree. We remain intrigued about this banishment. Come from the stars. You remain intrigued. Someone has to. Let's continue our journey. One last time. For real this time. A messenger imp with news and rumours from the other side manages to track you down at your wagon in the old masonry of Mount Elodial. The imp's latest information is about none other than Tizo, who you liberated at the fall of Solium. Everybody says he is the first creature of his kind to come to the Commonwealth. While the unique status brought Tizo no shortage of prestige, he nonetheless experienced difficulty acclimating to the new environment. It seems he grew quite despondent. I'm sorry, bro, I thought you wanted to go up. Then at last he managed to track down Volfred's agents, with whom he is now working to find a means to bring more exiles home. Thus has the revolution grown stronger. He also left for you a special verbal message via his most trusted messenger, who rears up and intones Scree Hume. He wants you to know that he's doing well, but misses you, and hopes to see you again. Well, bad news, Tizo, because I'm stuck down here forever. I'll send you Ray, though. I'll hope to send you Ray. You think the messenger imp... No, I thank the messenger imp for the report, and ask that it relay my kind regards. My companions soon begin to talk in turn. I don't know why I've switched to first person here, I just felt like it. I'm so happy for him. I wish I could have a friend like him when I was there.
You did it, little one. You scarce believe how long our Tizo toiled here in service of the Nightwings. He deserves his peace more than us all.
So we sent him into a war zone. Whoops. Very bright, that one. We have served well as our familiar. Perhaps someday yet it shall be so. I shall look forward to our next reunion, Tizo. Perhaps when we are back among the stars. The news of Tizo's adventures in the Commonwealth fills you and your fellow exiles with newfound resolve. Boop. Extra hope. Hope for all. We've got ladles of soup, just handing it out. Hope-flavoured soup. You stand before the scribe's gate with your companions. The gate guardian is there as ever, but you sense something different in her. The exiles of the Nightwings. We shall not meet again after the coming ride. Tariq and I, it shall be time for us to take our rest, I think. Oh, greetings, Celeste. I would tell you that the Nightwings are prepared, though this time I am uncertain. Anyone amongst us feels thus. We have a duty to uphold, Tariq. What the hell is this voice? We have a duty to uphold, Tariq. And then what, Celeste? And then, nothing. Not for the rats, or for us. Not till the dawn of a new age. Now, Nightwings, step forward. Please state your names and what it is you would seek whilst crossing the scribe's gate. One by one, your fellow exiles approach you, now with sureness in their step. If I may, my name is Wolfrid Sandalwood. I long as yet to see an age where freedom is one's birthright, and no longer are good people such as these forced to contend for it. We are called Big Bertrude. We seek to fulfill the plan of Sandalwood, for we are fond of him and his beliefs. And then, to go about our business. My name is Ray, and I am here because the scribes, this is the path they have shown me, and all of us. I like it when they call to me. Finally, you step forth once more. You, a crippled scholar who seeks revenge against the Commonwealth which wronged you, and who managed to come this far with this group. The Gate Guardian observes you for a moment, and motions past the archway towards the summit. The 8 scribes bid the Night Wings welcome. Go forth with glory. Except you, Tariq. You stay right there. I thought you said... The rats are not yet ended, Tariq. He looks to her, and then to the rest of you. Oh, pardon me, everyone. I shall be there when the stars align. The Gate Guardian and the Lone Minstrel remain together as the rest of you depart. Having some fun times together. Reminiscing on old times and getting down and dirty. You have gained the summit of Pactolodial for the 7th time. The final time in which any one of you shall have a chance to leave the downside. Last chat with Ron.
Hey guys. I guess you probably heard the big news, huh? Yeah, I'm going out of business here, it seems. Just hasn't been the same, you know, with all the stars all fading out and stuff. Anyways, I just wanted to say, you guys are great, and I'm sure I'm gonna miss having you guys as customers and all that. But I got some good news too. All my stuff, it's on sale now, and I'll throw a little extra in there just for you, okay? So, enjoy, and maybe I'll be seeing you around, okay?
Henceforth, all of Falconrod's goods are 5% off. Amazing. How amazing. I don't want any of it, but thanks for the chat.
Okay, well, see you guys.
Commence. You've gained the summit of Mount Elodial for the 7th and final time. Very few stars remain above to light your way as you await the commencement of the final liberation rite. The Lone Minstrel finds you clutching the Book of Rites, seeking there perhaps some bit of wisdom that has eluded you thus far. I mean, I haven't actually read the thing since about episode 4, but it's good that it's something that in character I'm still interested in at least. Vida, we may not have a chance to speak again after this. I may have to go. I wish to say that I am grateful for having made your acquaintance, and I shall remember you with fondness. I wish you well these nights and always. Go forth with glory. Then he looks up and extends his hand in friendship. You clasp it. You see Bertrude has joined you. All of your companions are there with her, in fact. Reading one, thou art both wiser and less irritating than most others of thy kind. We have learned something from thee, and we are grateful. Hi, mister. The others, they said they wanted me to join them and come talk to you, so here I am. The scribes are waiting for us. It is strange for me to say, given the circumstances of our meeting, reader, but it has truly been a pleasure. Onward now, let us achieve our plan. You look upon your fellow exiles, your companions, with whom you have withstood the downside, and with whom you shall now conduct this final rite. Begging your pardon, but my time has come. We shall see each other soon. He departs. After this night, the outcome of Volfred's plan, the plan of which you have all been a part, shall be decided. One way or another. For now, all you can do is strive to prevail against your final adversaries, so that one last companion may go free. You rise to join your fellow exiles in the last remaining stars ignite. The final liberation rite of the age shall now commence. We have to keep going until we are free. Hardcore mode for the last one. Turn them all on. Wouldn't that be something? Sorry, but I'm a pussy. It's not going to happen. We're going to win this on easy mode, or we're not going to win it at all. I can't wait.
Look, for one last time, upon the fall of Solium, dear reader. Hear me for one last time. For soon, the few remaining stars shall fade away, leaving you stranded there for your remaining days.
Also the heat death of the universe.
In that forsaken land, where you deserve to be.
Which isn't ideal.
The rabble that you roused here in the Commonwealth shall be put down. The exiles whom you liberated, all shall fall in line. But first, let us get on with this last liberation rite.
Priorities,
You
yeah.
face none other than yourselves.
There's rebellion happening,
So
but,
unlike the
you know.
glorious Nightwings of yore, 'tis a shame that one of you shall soon be free. For you deserve each other.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks. The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. But before the lone minstrel can concur, as per the custom,
Not another word.
the demon Aurelek slowly rises his clawed fingers to his mask.
The Nightwings, or the false Nightwings, have arrived at last. Long have I awaited this. My freedom once was stolen from me. Then I was cheated of it here upon this mountaintop. You may now attempt to take it from me once more.
He stands there for a moment, silent, and then Aurelek dons his mask and stands prepared. No muss, no fuss.
May these damned rites cease forever for the misery they have caused.
Nightwings, we shall not meet again after tonight, for the cycle of the rites is all but ended. Thus, I would have your final decision on whose behalf shall you conduct this final liberation rite, the one whom you anoint, or else the exile Aurelek shall be returned. Godspeed, reader. You know what is at stake better than I. I have the utmost faith in you to make the best decision and conduct this rite with glory. Nightwings, the star's remaining light glows dim. Your decision, please. Well, it has to be. It's time for you to choose who, if anyone among you, yeah, I'm going to pick no one, obviously, shall go free this one last time. The rest of you shall remain in the downside to the end of your days. One by one, you meet the gazes of each of your fellow exiles. Volfred, Ray, and Bertrude. Your fellow exiles, your companions, your friends. Yet my friends. The crazy girl, the patronizing asshole, or the woman who clearly just wants to murder me. These are my best friends, obviously. Together you have come this far, but now the downside and the rights conspire to tear your group apart and disrupt your plan. Hey, the good people have already left the group. I won't worry about that. We're prepared one last time. No, the pressure is too great. I can't do this. No, we're doing it. But with but a glance, you reassure your fellow exiles that you know what to do.
One final opportunity for salvation. Too bad for the rest of you.
I mean, I know it was Volfred's plan and everything, but like, he's not been the nicest guy to me, and I feel like the revolution's managing just fine without him. Plus, he seems like the noble sort. I think he'll happily accept his fate in the downside. And Bertrude, she loves it here. She's got a business running. She's doing great for herself. So I mean, it's gonna have to be the girl who's carried us from the very start, the saviour of these rights. It's gonna have to be the wonderful Ray finally getting her shot.
Ray,
Me? I can finally go home. Not yet. I mean, I know I can't go yet, but if the scribes allow it, maybe soon. This final time. This is the first time I've seen her show interest, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't let her go earlier now. Your choice is cast. As for your other companions, you sense a clarity of thought and purpose in each of them. You stand ready to support Ray as well as you.
who shall strive for her? Volfred.
Assuredly, my boy. Besides, we stand against Aurelek. It is fitting that I should have to confront him myself.
Bertrude.
Thy will is ours, reading one. Let the remaining stars shed their light upon our ceremony here.
If that is all, then.
Those are to be my adversaries, then. And who is it, I wonder, who asserts his will over that group? You sense Aurelek searching for you almost, reaching out to you. You, the shadow of the false Nightwings. They are nothing to me, but you who would relinquish your own liberty for the sake of them. Strange. I didn't really relinquish my own liberty. I never had any liberty to begin with. It is fitting, then, that I should have to face one such as you. Then Aurelek stands at the ready, signalling for his two allies to do the same. Imp Boy and Human Boy. By the light of dawn, the cycle of the right shall cease. Let us see if we can finish this ordeal before that time. The sky above begins to shudder. The final liberation rite is about to commence. Tariq. I am prepared, Celeste. Then let our song this evening shake the stars themselves. Aye, Celeste. Let us make sure of it.
The final chance at liberation for the age.
Shit. Nice! Accidentally switched to the wrong character in the middle there, but it's fine. You wear the raiments once again.
I could not simply stand by and do nothing, Aurelek.
Yet that is what you did. When last we stood together on this blasted mountain, I fell and you simply stood.
Aurelek, what shall it take for you to be convinced that I took no part in your betrayal?
Aurelek seems to consider the question, but only for a moment. Give me my damn freedom. Let me prevail, here and now.
Would you promise to uphold our plan? To bring about a better commonwealth?
No, I make no promises. I owe you nothing.
Then I am sorry, Aurelek. My love of country comes before all else. More than your freedom and our friendship is at stake.
Your love be damned, Volfred. Let us stand as adversaries then. Yes! That was a jump. That was so on target. I'm well impressed with myself. The sky rains ash. Soon shall your pyre's own mingle with them. Just then the skies begin to rain down fire. The final throes of the cycle of the rites and the ending of the age. Jesus. Literally the apocalypse. Oh, gee. Oh, what? No. No, you can't do that. I'll just banish my whole team. Shit. So what, I get one guy at a time now? Shit, no, someone get back now, please, please. What the? Suddenly goes supersonic. Oh, at least we got our people back now. Yes.
Resplendent.
I thought so.
Let's see you Nightwings keep this up. The orb.
Nice. I've had so many lucky jumps. I'm praying they're working, but I'm not expecting them to.
So the false Nightwings bear their fangs at last. But this cannot be your finest effort. You think you deserve your freedom more than I? Then fight for it, damn you.
How he has changed, that Warlick. Grown old and bitter lo these many years.
My ball. Where was my sap? Why is it over there? Shit, that was dumb. That was so dumb.
The orb is up. Unfortunate.
That was rather unfortunate, I agree. Oh, that was just bad. Wasn't unfortunate about that, I just straight up walked into that one. I don't know why he's only doing 20 damage, I thought Big Boys did like 30.
Someone grasp the orb.
Shit. Wow. Where's the orb? Where the hell's the orb? Not like it went over. Oh, there it is. I see it. Come on, Ray. Oh, shit. What's the fucking...
The orb sails forth.
amount of times I've tried summoning that sapling and it's just not come up.
All of you shall rot here. You shall rot as I have all these many years, you false Nightwings. Who would deny me once again my rightful liberty? You, who deny that liberty to all of the triumvirates you face and vanquish under the guise of the traditions of those blasted scribes. Come, let us continue with this glorious affair.
Please stop beating me. Also, how come you still get your full party after someone gets the ball in? That seems like cheating. Shit, fuck, balls, shit, balls, fuck. Sapling! The actual fuck! Alfred's so fucking useless, his skills just don't work. Oh, I don't want to lose this. I don't want Ray's chance at freedom to disappear. Get the ball, you slow, useless fuck. that was close. So good. Why are they so good? It's not fair. Okay, that was a dumb explosion, but it gave me a score, gave me a goal. Orlek stands, breathing heavily. He looks back on the thin lick of flame that is his smouldering pyre before turning his attention back to your triumvirate. You can't let them score anymore. Come on, someone get back. Yes! Oh, that was close. That was so close.
Nightwings proved their worth.
Oh god.
They surpassed their adversaries in the end.
Only just. Only just.
Ends the liberation rite.
Yeah, it does.
And thus, the scribes have chosen.
I knew the scribes would help see us through. You look upon Ray for what you expect shall be the last time you see each other. Any moment now, the Shimmerpool shall engulf her. Any moment now, she will return in glory and join with Volfred's agents in the Commonwealth to help achieve the plan. Any moment now, the cycle of right shall end, until at least the dawn of a new age. Any moment now.
And thus, the scribes have chosen. And thus, the scribes have chosen. And thus, the scribes have chosen.
No. The lift broke.
Nightwings. Reader. What have you done?
Can we not get Ray back now? Because I'm sad about that. Oh no! Are we too late? Is it too late for me? Each prior time upon the fall of Solium, the Shimmerpool is opened, following the liberation rite and taken in whichever exile prevailed. But now all is still, and the light of the stars above has all but died. You sense a growing fear that it is already too late, and that the Shimmerpool shall not reveal itself again. Damn. Orlek approaches, his head bowed.
The 8 scribes saved their greatest treachery for last.
Then something else catches his notice.
Wait.
Sudden rush of starlight cascades through the stillness of the summit. The Shimmerpool has appeared again. Different somehow, but open. Ray looks upon it, but it does not engulf her, or at least not yet.
It seems I was mistaken then. The 8 scribes, this is not their greatest treachery, it is their greatest jest. The Shimmerpool is flung wide open. It seems that all are worthy now of freedom.
Orlek strides towards the Shimmerpool, but... Halt, Orlek. Orlek glances over at the lone minstrel, almost in surprise. The Shimmerpool has lost most of its strength. You'll step inside, and you shall surely drown. Of that I can assure you. He laughs to himself at this.
Then we have all been cheated.
No, the Shimmerpool is revealed, and one of you may still return as planned. But for who returns, someone shall have to choose. Ere the last night of the stars is extinguished and the rites cease to be, this is the final trial of the scribes.
The final trial of the scribes. Then our confrontation, the liberation rite, it was all meaningless.
No, the victor of the confrontation is to be the one to make the choice among those closest to the scribes. Either the anointed or he who anointed them.
So then I can go home? Or mister, maybe I could choose you to go home instead.
Aye, it shall be either you or the reader, or
It shall be either or.
Ray, please make your decision quickly, lest it shall be forfeit. I do not know for how much longer the light of the stars shall offer you this gift.
If it truly has to be, well then my choice is made. I'm choosing you, mister. I would like you to be free, okay? For everything you have done for me and for all of us.
Ray wishes to give up her freedom so that you may regain yours. Very well. Reader, sir, the choice which Ray made, or rather the choice which she gave, it is now yours to make instead.
This choice, it may keep bouncing back and forth like this. Absurd.
It may, until such time as one of you is willing to accept the burden and the outcome of the choice. That is the trial, and I fear there is little time remaining now.
Reader, if you and your companion are too cordial with each other to accept that freedom, either one of you, then I shall gladly take it. Freedom ought be more than just some flirtatious trifle to exchange.
Reader, what is your will? Would be nice to go home. And I know Aurelek was cheated, so maybe he does deserve it. But Ray's carried us. If it wasn't for Ray, we would have lost most of these matches, and I strongly believe that. So if anyone deserves to go back to the Commonwealth, live out her days in peace, then it's absolutely Ray. You are decided. You have chosen Ray. She looks at you with some astonishment. Ray, madame, do you accept the reader's choice, or shall you make another?
Then yes, I do. I accept. I accept.
Then it is done. You see a look of genuine surprise flash across Ray's face, and then she is gone. May she return in glory.
Godspeed, moon-touched one. By the scribes, no stars remain aloft. The cycle of the rites. It is finished.
I guess it is.
Commonwealth. What shall become of it? What shall become of us? Nightwings. The opportunity to gain your freedom from the downside. Was it not enough?
No, I guess it wasn't. That night, the exile Ray returned to the Commonwealth. She was to be the last. The stars had faded, and the cycle of the rites had run its course. She found the Commonwealth in great upheaval. Spurred by the efforts of 6 liberated exiles, Volfrid Sandalwood's revolutionary plan had incited the masses. These exiles, and the starless sky, portended the return of the scribes. The people surged into the streets, shoulder to shoulder. Led by the 6 exiles, their voices shook the heavens. the leadership of the Commonwealth panicked. No blood was shed that night, and by dawn it was over. The leaders of the Commonwealth had cast themselves back into exile, or joined in this new cause. Thus, in its 838th year, the Commonwealth had fallen. The new Saurian Union declared its sovereignty in the next year. Among the changes its elected leaders ushered in, they vowed never to cast people into exile, and they abolished the old Commonwealth decree forbidding literacy. Today, we still remember all of this. And we remember the exiles of the downside, whose deeds led to the dawning of our age, whether they returned or not. Oh, we've got stuff. Well, this is going to be... You best sit down for the duration, because this is clearly going to take a little while. The imp called Tizo was the first of his kind to achieve liberty through the rites. While he was not the only imp trained in the ways of the scribes, imps are native to the downside, and thus care not for travelling abroad. This made him useful to triumvirates. Yet Tizo had a different calling, and the Nightwings believed that he too could play a key part in Volfred Sandalwood's plan. During the night of the scribe's return, he stood out to the populace as something of a miracle. They had only heard of downside imps before from legends of Hayub the Swallow. Afterwards, he became something of an icon, representing both the fall of the Commonwealth and the beginning of a new era. He would visit his friend Ray at every opportunity. She was among the few who could consistently interpret what he meant, and they were always close since they first met. Volfred Sandalwood would sometimes send him little gifts all the way from the downside. Despite the insurmountable distance between them, their friendship proved more than resilient. Tizo often missed his interactions with the reader of the Nightwings. He had quickly built quite a rapport back in the downside, and Tizo would often express wistful gratitude for all his time conducting the rites alongside the Nightwings who made such sacrifices for him. Other than that, Tizo was diligent about his role as something of a living artifact and helped interpret for the messenger imps that relayed news to and from the downside. Despite having gained significant celebrity, he never let it go to his head, though he did take full advantage of his access to the Saurian Union's fishing industry. As the cycle of the rites drew to a close, it grew evident that a chance at freedom from the downside had forever slipped from Dalbert and Alma Oldheart's grasp. Thus, they and the exiles of the Fate returned to Jomua Valley. There they struggled to get by, as exiles of the downsides tend to do. Sometime after the rites had ended, the Oldhearts at last heard the news that the Commonwealth had fallen. This was well after the fact, of course, but it brought old Dalbert great joy. Despite his forthright manner, he had no love for the nation that cast him down, along with his son. Dalbert Oldheart passed peacefully in his sleep before the next new moon. In his final days, he implored his son to undertake a pilgrimage to the scribes. Alma never shared his father's view of the scribes, but respected Dalbert's wishes, and so, after a period of mourning, Alma began a new journey. Not a day went by that Alma Oldheart did not think about his father and give thanks to him, and speak to him, morning and at night. Would that the stars yet shone, for surely Dalbert's would be there among them, smiling down at his son and watching over him and his kin. After the final liberation rite, Lendl refused to believe that the rites had truly ended. He would sit through night after consecutive night, staring into the blackness of the sky, waiting any kind of sign that he might gain another chance at freedom. No such sign ever came. His fellow accusers started to express concern for him. Survival had become their top priority once liberty had slipped from their grasp. But Lendl dismissed them as weak fools. He insisted, rather forcefully, that any evening now the stars would shine for him again and mark the way towards his inevitable freedom. He was, of course, mistaken. The others in the triumvirate were left with little choice but to abandon him. After that, the exile known as Lendl the Liar was never seen again. However, there have since been sightings of a bedraggled demon who wanders the downside and bears Lentor's cruel countenance, suggesting he yet lives. After the cycle of the rites had ceased, Witch Milde returned to the Flagging Hands region, where she sealed herself within the Pit of Melith. There, even her fellow exiles of the Withdrawn allegedly grew unnerved after a time and left her to her vile work. Sometime later, the Pit of Melith erupted into flame. So intense was the conflagration that it could be seen all the way from the Jomur Valley. Arson was suspected, though the cause was never verified, and many bog dwellers of the region were forced to flee. A tempest blowing forth from the mighty... What? I just completely made that up, didn't I? A tempest blowing from the north finally quenched the flames. When at last the ashes settled and the grounds had cooled, the site of the fire was scarred beyond recognition. No trace of Witch Milde could be found. As for the contents of the Pit of Melith, which notably included a profane object thought to be the remains of Islak, all of it was gone as well. Back in the Saurian region, Udmilde's repeated threats of the return of Islak were thoroughly investigated, and no credence was found to any of her claims. After his liberation, Hedwyn was instrumental in the events leading to the fall of the Commonwealth, and was vital to the outcome of the plan. The peaceful outcome of the scribe's return was attributed to several key factors. One of them was the underlying ambition of the plan itself. Another was Hedwyn's visibility among the people in the streets. Identified to be a liberated exile, he was believed to be Golgothian reborn. More importantly, however, was that one of the winged harps of the Highwing remnants accompanied him. She was later identified as Fikani Shang. Hey, it's the chick he was into. The bond was symbolic of what was at stake that night, and proved vital to the peace that followed. In all his days as a leader of the Sharian Union, Hedwyn oft confided in his friend Jodariel. Despite her intense manner, there was no one whom he trusted more in times when circumspection was required. Hedwyn would often think back about the vow he made at the beginning of his quest for freedom. Although he cherished all the friendships he made, he had pledged to Jodariel, Rookie Greentail, and the Reader of the Nightwings that they might all be free again together. He had broken that vow, for in the end, not all of them were able to return. A terrible guilt over this darkened his mood for a time. However, the others knew that... God damn it. However, the others whom he still knew lifted his spirits, much like he had often lifted theirs. All of the Nightwings knew the stakes. While the others who stood with the Nightwings were not all able to remain in contact thus, Hedwyn thought of each of them often, and so in turn did they oft think of him. When the Worm Gilman returned from the Commonwealth to the Commonwealth, he believed that he had regained something even more important than his freedom, his honour. Gilman relinquished his knighthood and declined an opportunity to serve as a captain on the Blood Border. He was not interested in fighting any longer. Yet, as is sometimes the case with such as he, a circumstance soon came about in which there seemed to be a need for him to once again make use of his military training. Thankfully, however, the scribe's return ended peacefully. Gilman was on edge throughout that night, expecting violence to erupt at any moment, but the moment never came. When the matter was at last put to rest, then Gilman truly knew his time as a knight had ended. He declared to all of those in earshot that he would never fight again. Unless, of course, there arose some other extraordinary set of circumstance, again requiring him to fight, but he certainly hoped not. He still trained regularly, just in case, especially with his fleet-footed friend, Rookie Greentail. He was always grateful of having studied under the Reader of the Nightwings, without whom he would never have completed his penance. Because of this, and perhaps because they were on opposite sides of the world now, Gilman dedicated his life to him. By that point, he had long forgotten about his days under the leadership of Sir Deluge, his former commander. Breaking free of his abusive leadership was the first step towards gaining a bit of self-respect. Gilman never did return to his homeland of the Sea Dominion, and was content to lead a monastic life in the small residence on the hills. It was just high up enough to make him keep striving to conquer his fear of heights. Other than that, an intense daily training regimen and the occasional visit from an old companion was more than enough to keep him optimistic and engaged. He knew by then that honour was not something to be won, but a contract with oneself to be renewed each day. After the cycle of the rites ceased turning, records of what happened to the Black Wagon of the Nightwings became inconclusive and contradictory. Some accounts suggest that the exiles of the Nightwings who remained in the downside continued to make use of the Black Wagon as their place of shelter and their means of travel. However, there is no record of what happened to the wagon's contents, such as the Book of Rites or the Beyonder Crystal, said to be haunted by the apparition Sandra the Unseeing. One possibility is that when the lone minstrel took his leave, he took the Beyonder Crystal with him, for he was thus obliged. By this line of reasoning, however, the Black Wagon itself should have been taken also. Others remain sceptical that the Beyonder Crystal ever existed, or rather that the visions it granted were anything other than the result of an active imagination or a fever dream. The bog dwellers of the southern bogs offer still another explanation, for they are familiar with binding enchantments. If there existed such an object in which the Sisters of the Arch had been expelled for more than 800 years, then the enchantment would have expired along with the light of the stars. What this would have meant for Sandra and the Beyonders is difficult to say for certain, other than it may have meant that they were finally released. Nevertheless, the fates of Sandra and the Beyonder Crystal remain unknown. Yet those exiles of the Nightwings who claim to have seen this apparition all spoke of her with degrees of reverence or perhaps a little fear. All his life, Sir Delude had fled from one danger only to find himself facing another. He had escaped the war-torn waters of the Sea Dominion, he had escaped the blood border of the Commonwealth, and now he had escaped the rites. After the rites had ended, many exiles wrapped up in the ancient test were crestfallen, as their last chances to return to their homes had vanished, along with the stars above. But Deluge did not mind, for this outcome meant that, at last, there was no burden of responsibility weighing down on him. While most of his fellow exiles of the Pyre hearts yet longed for the waters of the Sea Dominion, driven as ever by their impulses toward conflict, Deluge settled down. With him remained one of his companions, one Lady Seagrass, who had taken a liking to him for some reason. Just one of the other Pyre hearts. Reportedly, they disappeared into the waters of the Worm Gulf, which may begin to explain the significant increase in worm population observed in the vicinity. Barker Ashpaws never had much interest in returning to the Commonwealth. He was always found its bylaws to be stifling, so when the rites ended, he did not care at first. He seemed very bored. The rites had given his life a certain sense of structure he had always needed. He missed the raw anticipation of it all. He decided to continue conducting the rites just for the thrill of it. He bent some of the rules and replaced some of the objects, but it was close enough. His packmates, the Dissidents, proved more than happy to participate, and thus they ran against each other back in the Jomur Valley. Gradually other exiles familiar with the rites, as well as those who had not heard of it at all, started to take an interest. They ended up giving Barker Ashpaws some healthy competition. His old feud with Rookie Greentail ceased meaning anything to him, and he forgot all about it amid his new pursuits. Ultimately, even Barker Ashpaws, who had led such a directionless existence up to that point, found something of a calling through the rites. Whether he took the rites less seriously than any other exile of the time, or more, was oft debated by those who watched him work. The Commonwealth had never provided a sense of home for the one they called Ray the Wretched, so she was surprised on her return that she was so well treated. She felt uneasy about it, and besides, she knew she would do her best to fulfill the pledge she had made to her friends. Even she could not have expected the impact she would have had on the events that followed, which gave rise to the Saurian Union. Despite not fitting the image of any of the 8 scribes, Ray nonetheless stood out alongside the others amid the teeming masses of the night of the scribes' return. She spoke of the scribes with such conviction and sincerity that the crowd was very moved. After the fall of the Commonwealth, there was a renewed interest in the legend of the 8 scribes and many new interpretations of their histories and teachings. Ray found herself at the centre of all this, Her way of speaking continued to compel a growing audience. She swayed many people from their astralist beliefs. Soon, the Eighth Word, which had lost favour with the people during the reign of the Commonwealth, sought her out and asked her formally to join. And she did, right away. Among her friends, she always remained close with Tizo, who, more than anyone, could always make her laugh. She cited her relationship with Jodariel as the single most important in her life. Jodariel would always provide for her a circumspect perspective on the wisdom of experience. Ray always was devoted to her faith, but more so to her friends. Many people in the Saurian Union cited that her gentle manner and unwavering conviction helped them brave the changing times with courage and with grace. We're getting there. After Ricky Greentail earned back his freedom, he returned to the lavish welcome ceremony in the Commonwealth and as was the tendency for liberated exiles. It was everything he could have hoped for, and soon he was well off, surrounded by luxury and choosing between various exciting opportunities. However, he must have given in to his better judgment, as he did end up siding with Volfred Sandalwood's revolutionary forces as he promised. On the night of Scribe's return, Greentail was there with the others, inspiring the masses. He never looked prouder, and the very image of Shomer Manimane himself. When dawn finally came, and it became clear that the Commonwealth, that everyone knew was to be no more, he realised many new opportunities awaits. He began with a lucrative career for himself, manufacturing and selling replica merchandise inspired by the downside. His main struggle was to meet demand. An aspect of his conscience cautioned him against making light of such a thing, but the money was too good, and soon his family was as well off as he always said. One of his orders of business was to seek out one of his old companions, Pamitha Thane, to whom he took a liking during their quest for freedom. They bonded further over love of drink and supported one another through uncertain times that lay in store. He also kept in close touch with Gilman, ever the perfect practice partner. They would train together often, taking care to stay in tip-top shape as much as possible throughout the years. Greentail always did his best to keep in touch with all of his many friends, and knew that he owed his fortunes to them. He made a special point of staying close with the group of friends he came to know so well during his time with the Nightwings, wherever they were. They shared a special understanding that put even Greentail at a loss for words sometimes. Throughout her exile, Tamitha Thane was moved by a single goal: to return to the Commonwealth and exact vengeance on her ancient enemies. When she realised the rites had ended, and that she would never see her mountain home again, she nonetheless remained determined to aid her people however possible. She had gathered certain information pertaining to the intentions of the Nightwings, who had formed a pact to regroup on the other side after their liberation. Other such reports exposed certain weaknesses in the Commonwealth defences and revealed to the Highwing remnants the opportunity for a risky but potentially impactful strike. As Tamitha could not participate in the assault, she learned what happened well after the outcome. On that night, known as the Scribe's Return, the Commonwealth had fallen. The Highwing remnants thus prevailed at last without even having to fight. Soon after the fall of the Commonwealth, Tamitha learned her blood sister, Pamitha, was an accessory to the successful outcome. Tamitha was very sceptical at this, but similar reports kept mounting, and she soon accepted the prevailing opinion, however grudgingly. Once, a messenger imp arrived bearing some sort of message, seemingly from Pamitha. However, Tamitha turned it away. She would not give in to such an impulse to forgive. Knowing that the conflict on the other side had ended, Tamitha retreated to the crags of Black Basin and grew ever more distant. Those closest to her surmised that her inability to reconcile with her blood sister was at the heart of this, though, for her part, Tamitha never once admitted to any such weakness. Well, that's kind of sad. When Manly Tinderstorff realised the rites had ended and that he could no longer return to the Commonwealth through his ancient means, he was outraged. He cursed the scribe, spewing forth such a slew of blasphemy as to be very uncommon of one of his high status and bearing. When at last he calmed himself, he focused all his energies on attempting to find another means of homecoming. He maintained regular contact with his wealthy family on the other side via messenger imp, and used their vast resources to explore other means of escape. He tried using an elaborate pulley system. He attempted to retrofit a flying black wagon with superior propulsion. He tried an imp draft, a hot air balloon, even prayer. Nothing worked. There was only one way to escape the downside, and now it was gone. Grinderstoff bankrupted his family in these vain attempts. At last, such was his shame that he retreated to the teeming woods of Black Basin, to Cinderroot. There he yet wallows, complaining to his comrades of the chastity who still put up with him, either about his own misfortune or the latest news from the other side. After her liberation, Jodariel soon became an icon of the movement that led to the collapse of the Commonwealth and the rise of the Saurian Union. Her horns and stern countenance inspired the people to believe that she was solely a Myr reborn. She became a great, if reluctant, leader. In the uncertain time that followed, Jodariel's seasoned expertise often came into play both in matters of security and of state. For instance, she conscripted and trained a team of volunteers in public safety. The community did not know what to make of such a cordial bunch at first, but soon came to value their service. They have stood for the people ever since, and we celebrate their founding day each year. She remained close with Hedwyn, and all through his experience, they both supported each other through their struggles many times. She kept an eye on Ray, who nonetheless demonstrated a surprising knack to get by on her own, though Jodariel was always willing to provide assistance just in case. She continued trading on her own, a regimen that grew stricter with each passing year. There were those who sought to train with her, and she sometimes obliged. There remained one other constant in her life. She would always remember the days among the Nightwings, and with fondness for the most part. After regaining her freedom, Pamitha Thane found herself in a difficult position. Having once betrayed her people of the Highwing remnants, she knew that she would not be welcome in her native home. She did not trust the Commonwealth either. Instead, she found her place among Volfred Sandalwood's agents, who were busy doing their part to fulfill the plan. As it turned out, the plan was a success. Pamitha Thane stood shoulder to shoulder with her other fellow former exiles, and truly they were a sight to behold. A disturbing rumour later spread that night the Highwing remnants were slated to mount an assault, which for some reason never came to pass. Pamitha denied any knowledge or involvement. Afterward, Pamitha played an active part in negotiating terms between the Highwing remnants and the new nation that would become our Saurian Union. A previous attempt at something of the sort led to her exile. She must have felt some satisfaction to succeed this time around. Sometime later, Pamitha had an unexpected run-in with Rookie Greentail, with whom she had spent a fair amount of time during her travelling with the Nightwings. Under these new set of circumstances, it turned out that the two had more to talk about, and rather more in common. They would often put to the test which one was able to outdrink the other. It was unclear as to which of them prevailed in that contest in the end. One day, Pamitha received an invitation to return to the Highwing remnants, where she was to be fully pardoned. She held out hope that she might see her blood sister Tamitha there, knowing full well that Tamitha did not regain her freedom. Tamitha did later learn that Pamitha was welcomed back by her people. However, she never responded to her blood sister's attempts to contact her. Pamitha in turn did not expect forgiveness from her at any point. Nonetheless, she kept on trying to reach out. She said to ruffle up her feathers just a bit. Later, when asked, Pamitha Thane admitted she felt as though she had no home to call her own. This was during an interview conducted amid an extensive trip abroad. She had travelled thousands of leagues beyond the bounds of the Saurian Union. Pamitha continued to journey thus, citing that it reminded her of when she was younger and could fly unfettered. Once it became clear to Ignarius that the rites were drawing to a close, he knew that it was time for him and the Tempest to call it quits. But first, he and the Tempest decided to celebrate, and that they did for many nights. The revelry did eventually subside. The exiles parted amicably and went on their separate ways. They roamed the downside then, searching for some meaning in his life, sometimes taking odd jobs requiring his brute strength. He never remained alone for very long, and took on many lovers in his time. However, he sometimes thought about the one he called Curly Horns and what became of her. Though his glory days as the most powerful conductor of the rites had long since passed, he always enjoyed his fearsome reputation he had cultivated at that time. That one was short and sweet. I liked it. After the shimmer pool closed for what would be the last time, Aurelak looked around him in the flickering light of the Nightwing's still-burning pyre. He then turned to the fall of Solium and looked up into the black, starless sky. He cursed the 8 scribes then, one after the other. After that, he strode forward, towards the water coursing from the side of Mount Elodial, and without hesitating, he cast himself down. Aurelak's body was never recovered. The drop from Mount Elodial does not appear survivable, but Aurelak survived it once before. That time, however, he was filled with fury. Such was the betrayal he had suffered when his fellow exile claimed his rightful freedom. This time, Aurelak was filled with nothingness, and chose to leave the downside in the one way he still knew he could. The other Nightwings, who were witness to this, never forgot what they saw. Ouch. Let's do Ron next. When the rites drawn to a close, the slug market's revenues fell precipitously, and Falcon Run was forced to liquidate his assets and close up shop. Yeah, as is sometimes the case with those of an entrepreneurial leaning, this time of hardship led to an epiphany, or at least a sudden change of fortune. One day, Falcon Run had a run-in with a messenger imp, bearing news from the other side. Ron gave it one of his remaining trinkets, which could not be sold. The following week, the messenger imp returned to him bearing a tidy sum of wealth in newly minted coinage from the Saurian Union. Falcon Run cut a long-term deal with the messenger imp then and there. Though his trade remained a grey area from a legal standpoint in the Saurian Union, the newfound fame of the downside caused Falcon Run's goods to explode in popularity. He later signed an elaborate agreement with Big Bertrude's and found a distribution partner on the other side through Rookie Greentail, whose own business had expanded. Especially in the Saurian Union, I'm calling him Falcon Run, I don't know why, but his goods were still known for their superior quality, though he assumes no liability for any side effects. Several exiles of the Nightwings cared more for the plan of Sandalwood than to return home from the downside. The crone called Big Bertrude was a prime example. She had found a suitable environment to live, with the dismal region known as the Flagging Hands. There she had built up a thriving place of business known to many exiles in the land. With the rites having ended, she returned to her preoccupations, working away almost as though nothing had happened. When one gets more than 400 years of age, perhaps then, even monumental events such as the culmination of the rites or the collapse of the Commonwealth are seen as trifling matters. Much of her effort was doubtless due to the influence of Sandalwood, someone whom she had admired now for decades. He had made clear that he would not requite her feelings for him, but what could have been a hurtful dismissal led only to a deeper understanding between them. By and large, Bertrude kept focused on her work. Whether casting small enchantments or imbuing talismans, the work brought her a sense of purpose, she would say. In the Commonwealth, such services were strictly forbidden, but in the downside, there was real need for simple luxuries the competing slug market could not always provide. Thus did Big Bertrude continue to live up to her name, and the tales of her days with the Nightwings made her that much more the living legend. When the cycle of the rites ceased turning, Volfrid Sandalwood turned towards the starless sky and closed his eyes and prayed. It was all that he could do at that stage of his plan. He aspired to assemble with liberated exiles representing each of the 8 largest ethnic groups composing the population of the Commonwealth. They were stand together as a vision for the 8 scribes returned, inspiring the masses to embrace an older set of values from before the Commonwealth had tightened its grip. With the rites ending sooner than expected, this ideal scenario became impossible. Sandalwood's own freedom, for instance, was now forfeit. Yet the plan did have contingencies. Fortunately, most of those contingencies did not prove necessary. Word reached him that, on the night of the scribe's return, his fellow liberated Nightwings stood together and their voices echoed through the streets. These former exiles, who ought to have disappeared into the ranks of the Commonwealth's own leadership, now stood united with its people and poured from their homes in solidarity. It was imperative to Sandalwood that this stand against the Commonwealth be peaceful in its nature. An overwhelming show of popular support would be more than enough. Ensuring this was his priority, and in the end, the result was self-evident. Ensuring this was his priority, and in the end, the result was self-evident. The plan's goal had been achieved. Sandalwood kept busy after that, as much as possible, providing counsel from afar for those who would be at the forefront for the birth of the Saurian Union. Of course, being stranded in the downside meant there was only so much he could do. Resting assured that the future of the nation was in capable hands, he turned his attention to the remaining exiles of the downside. He might never return to a new nation, but at least they could experience the triumphs and its struggles in some vicarious way. So he took to his old work, writing and printing. As literacy began to spread again throughout the Saurian Union, so too did exiles of the downside take to it. For his part, Sandalwood helped to teach as many as he could. More than that, he provided the material to read, a semi-annual report about the latest events both within the Saurian Union and the downside. This periodical gave many exiles something to look forward to. He welcomed the company of the reader of the Nightwings at every opportunity and counted him a trusted friend and a keen editor. As Volfred Sandalwood gained more fame throughout the land for all of his sacrifices and his contributions, it is said that he remained steadfast about two things. The first was that the cause itself ought to remain in focus. The freedom that the people had achieved, it was a gift to be cherished and a set of values that needed to be nurtured. The second point he made was that he himself had little to do with the outcome. He would often praise the exiles of the Nightwings who had stood with him, each in turn, by name. He never forgot about any of them. One day, to commemorate its birthday, the people of the Saurian Union unveiled a monument depicting him and the Nightwings as imagined in their prime. While Sandalwood did not learn of it until much later, it is said he was moved to tears then by the gesture. It has since ensured that those of us with memories more fallible than those of Sandalwood likewise remember the achievements of his fellow former exiles and our cause. After the cycle of rites ceased turning, the lone minstrel bade the remaining Nightwings take the Black Wagon and seek their fortunes elsewhere in the downside. The parting was heartfelt, but brief. He remained there, at the summit of Mount Elodial, with Celeste, where the two of them would chronicle the final outcome of the cycle. Neither Tariq or Celeste were ever seen again. We know all this now through song attributed to them. Some claim these songs originated in the taverns of the Saurian Union and merely were imbued with the weight of folklore. However, exiles liberated from the downside corroborated each other's claims at having met this duo that presided over the liberation rites. Another folktale suggests these minstrels were heralds of the scribes. Having fulfilled their obligations, they departed the world we know and rejoined their patrons. One of the famous songs describes another, simpler outcome. The two gave up their duties to the rites in favour of a life that they could share together. In any case, they were likely to remain the subject of such verses and such songs, for it was they who watched over the rites and ushered in our times. There is one more account which warrants mention. The Nightwings conducted the rites under the guidance of a reader. Little is known of him. However, some accounts of him begin to paint a picture. We know he was of common birth, weak-framed, though raised with a penchant for learning. The journey to the downside left him close to death. It was then that the Nightwings found him. They brought him from the brink and showed him the path. He pressed onward with the others. He vowed the Commonwealth would pay for what it did to him. Thus did the cycle of the rites commence its final turns. When the final rite arrived, the reader's freedom was at stake. In the end, however, he remained in exile. From that point on, accounts of him diverge. It is said the voice which troubled him, he never heard it again. Some say he opted for a place to settle in the downside, though whether that is true, only he knows. Someday, perhaps, that reader's own star shall emerge. Then it shall pierce the dark of night in all of its brilliant glory. Until such time, and ever after, all of us give thanks.
Their journey began on a barren waste where the reader arrived, afraid and alone. When he arrived, the book of rights awakened the night wings and ignited the flame. They follow the stars, bound together, strands in our brain till the end. We sing of the last of the night wings who, having broken the cycle, shall live on in song. Headwind prevailed and strode the path that his heart laid before him. He has found his way home. Captain Joe Dariel, mother to many a foundling, she has found her way home. Rookie Greentail has proved his worth and returned to his family by the grace of the scribes. They follow the stars, bound together, strands in a braid till the end. The moon-touched girl hears the scribes in the world all around her. They have guided her home. Tizo prevailed, first of his lowly kind, to ascend from the downside. He has found a new home. Sir Gilman the Bold, ever in his quest, finding honor and glory, he has found his way home. Paramith the Thane, having pleased the scribe, seeking only forgiveness, she has found her way home. They follow the stars, bound together, strands in a braid till the end. Bound together, spirits tender, strands unbroken, strands
The great mastermind, Wolfred Sandalwood, saw his plans turn to action. He remained till the end. The bog dweller Bertrude kept their foes at bay with her finest enchantments. She remained till the end. The reader at last made the night wings whole, having bound them together. He remained till the end.
into the stars. We shall find a way home. We shall find our way home. We shall find our way
Oh hey, it's a library. Like what I said I wanted that one time. That's nice. It's nice that I got my library. So, I assume pressing escape now is going to just take me back to the main menu, so we'll just sit here in the library while we wrap things up. That was Pyre. And, well, Supergiant have done it again. That was a brilliant game. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, there were a few times during the middle where it felt like it was dragging on a little. I think maybe some of the after the first cycle, the rights perhaps should have been closer together. At first, it was like 3 or 4 matches between each liberation right, and I don't know, it maybe eked out a bit longer than it needed to. But that aside, and also putting aside the fact that I just had to sit and read so much epilogue that my voice is now kind of croaking a bit. All that aside, absolutely beautiful game. Love the story, great, compelling characters, all very distinct, all very exciting and interesting and worth finding out about, except Pamitha, obviously. And the gameplay was solid. You know, fun little game. You know, if it hadn't been such a story-based game and it had been all just playing the rights, it probably would have got stale. But because they were like, the rights were almost like a bonus gameplay element that just got thrown in every now and then, rather than actually the core of the game, which was obviously the narrative. It worked really well. And Jesus Christ, I literally am incapable of playing a Supergiant game without just gushing about how much I love it. But god damn, this was a fun experience. I very much enjoyed it, and if it's taken me 15 videos, 16 videos, however long it's taken, and one of which is probably about 2 hours long by this point, I don't know how long it's dragged on for, but it's going to be a long one. Despite that, worth every minute. A great way to round off my year, I think. And all that reminds me, I'm planning on putting up one more video before I take my Christmas break, and that will be a top 10 games of 2017, because, you know, everyone needs to hear my opinion on games. That's what everyone needs right now, just another ego listing things on YouTube. That's at least contributing as much as my Let's Play videos, let's face it. So, anyway, thanks for watching, people. This was Pyre. If you don't own it, and Bastion, and Transistor, then for the love of God, just go throw all your money at Supergiant. Just give them everything you own. Sign over your house and everything. They're basically the best developer at the moment. Let's not beat about the bush. They've got a perfect track record, which no other developer has, not even the almighty From Software. So, it's good. It's good and it's happy and fun times. Now let's press escape and see what happens. Well, I guess that's over, but there's one more thing I have to do, as is the custom on my channel. I record a little something in honor of the game that I've just finished. So well, here it is. Enjoy. I dig my hole, you build a wall.
I dig my hole, you build a wall.
One day that wall is gonna fall.
Gonna build that city on a hill.
Go and build that city on a hill.
Someday these tears are gonna spill. So build that wall and build it strong. 'Cause we'll be there before too long. Ka.
Gonna build that wall up to the sky. I'm gonna build that wall up to the sky.
Alright, someday your bird is gonna fly. We're gonna build that wall until it's done. But now you've got nowhere to run. So build that wall. Yes, build it and build it strong. 'Cause we'll be there before too long.
Oh, build that wall and build it strong.
'Cause we'll be there before too long. Hey chum,